Sometimes you don't need this much, but you do need more than this. In today's video, I'm going to show you a very cool tool that can close the gap in your shop. Come on, let's dive in. This is the cool tool that I am referring to, the Kaiweets Electric Screwdriver. Get these out of the way and show you what I'm talking about. Now, some of you may recall that I have an older version of this. Now, this is the older version of the Kaiweets Electric Screwdriver. You can see it's well used. I really like this. I keep a socket on here that's perfect for removing the thumb screws for a lot of the power and VGA sockets, that kind of thing, in older electronics. And it came in this pouch with all of the various bits and such that came with it. Kaiweets was very kind and sent me their latest model. So here's the latest model. You can see now it comes in a different kind of container. This is a plastic container. And what's really cool about this container is you've got everything in here. You've got the screwdriver, and you can charge the screwdriver while it's in this container. So it makes for a much neater package. You just plug it in here. That's plugging right into the back of the screwdriver, and then you can plug that into any USB port or an adapter that you happen to have. You can see the package, it clips in. You just give it a little push, and then it opens up. And now you have your bits on one side, bits on the other side. Here's the actual screwdriver. And there's some things I like about this screwdriver more than the older version. This one is faceted on the side, so it's going to make it much easier to hold on to and figure out where my thumb needs to position. The other one was perfectly round and smooth, and so I would frequently have to spin it around in my hand to find the buttons. We've got the forward button, the aft button. We've got a light here. It's hard to see it because it's so bright in here right now, but you've got some LED lights, and you have a power indicator here so that you can tell how much battery charge you have left. That's really nice, so you don't just use it and then all of a sudden it stops on you. We have a nice variety of Phillips and flatheads and Torx and stars and triangles and these oddball, unusual kind of security screws throughout the package here. That's going to come in very, very handy for anyone who's doing electronic scrap. And you also have some tweezers and a little spatula for putting, if you're doing electronic repairs, for putting on things like heat paste and such. Now, this was ideally designed for the electronics repair industry, but I have found that it works really well for me as a scrapper. So let's just do a couple of test runs with it. Now, here's a smaller PC that I've started taking apart. You can see we've got the front plate. This was a Dell Windows 7, so kind of an older PC. And you know, sometimes this is fine to get in here and unscrew some things when we have lots of space and we're not constrained. These Wi-Fi cards, I used to just leave these on because they're a little fiddly. They're very small Phillips screwdriver head there, and there wasn't much of a market until recently when BoardSort started buying these as a separate category. So now I want to take those out. I don't want to always be switching around with the regular big drill. Now I can just grab my Kaiweets and I can get down in here and I can very easily get this out. I don't have to take time to switch out the bit there. And of course we know that there's gold plating on the connectors, so pull that board off, set those aside because that's a separate category for boardsort.com and maybe a number of your buyers. And if you're into gold recovery, you'll want to keep these aside to get the gold plating off of there. They also give you some longer bits, so you can see we have some longer Phillips heads here. A little bit fiddly getting these out of here. I'm sure that I'll come up with a good feel for how to get those out. Make that a little bit easier. But anyway, you can see that this can get down inside of here and get these larger screws that are holding down the motherboard without any trouble. And this feels like it's got a bit more torque than the older model, the original model that they had put out. So I think this one's got a bit more torque to it, although the older model had 2 torque settings. This newer model, the ES21, actually has 5 torque settings, and it's really easy to change. You hold the light button down for about 2 seconds, it'll blink, and then you can tap it anywhere from 5 times to switch between the 5 gears. So really nice when you're working on more precision kind of things. I'm just going to leave mine on the high torque setting. Now, one thing that I do notice that is missing from this kit, as I look through all of these, I do not see this socket. And I really like that socket. Now, that's okay because this is still working fine, so I may keep this loaded here. Although, I'm tempted to put this I'm tempted to load this up. It's a little bit smaller. I may use this for when I'm taking the thumb screws off of things like slot card boards and plates and such. We're gonna have to think about that. Of course, if you still have your original Kaiweets ES20, all of the bits, like this one, will fit into your new Kaiweets. So that's very handy. So it's not as fast as the DeWalt, but you know, again, it's not intended to be. This is intended for people that are repairing computers. So, you know, it's going to be a little less oomphy to it, because if you're repairing PCs or other electronics, you don't want the oomphy of a big DeWalt drill. So it's got a little more finesse to it. But here in the scrapping world, that finesse, while not necessary, is still useful because, hey, some of you actually do repair. Or you're taking things apart for resale, so you don't want to necessarily destroy it when you're planning on reselling it. And sometimes the big DeWalts can have just a little too much oomphy. All right, this hard drive is going to make a really good test for the Kaiweets. It's a Barracuda 500 gigabyte, no big deal. We'll scrap that out without any concerns. So here's our Kaiweets. It's in the nice case. Give it a little open. And we get the screwdriver out. And let's see, what kind of torques do we think that is? Let's see, I think we're right here. I noticed that they didn't put torque numbers on the frame. So if you put this, it's marked on the actual torque bit, but if you don't put it in right, you won't see the number. So that's a little bit, that's just cosmetic kind of thing. Anyway, so here's our torque bit. And what are we going with here? We're going with a T9H. And it's a security torque bit, but that doesn't matter for our purposes here. I think that's the right fit. Yeah, there we are. All right, now, more Torx holding down the little ribbon wire that goes to the reader heads, and then there's Torx holding the spindles. There are going to be different sizes. Those are small there. These are a little bit, these are the right size here. We'll have to get a smaller Torx bit out here in a minute. And we go with, let's try you. That feels a little bit loose. Let's go up a little bit. And that, yes, that feels good. Yes, that's the right size. What is that? That's a T6H. All right. But, and it takes that screw without any trouble at all, pulling it right out. And let's see how we do on this one. Yeah. So that higher torque works really well on this one, on this device. And we'll get you out of there. Get some neodymiums. There we go. Oh yeah, it gets right on those. No trouble at all. All right, so here we have a busted laptop. This will be another good use for the Kaiweets. And getting the bits out, well, and getting the bits out is kind of just simple as pushing on the front end of it. So they've got a little pivot point. You just push on that front end and it back end pops out and you grab hold of it. And let's see here now. Well, I could see where if I was a computer repair person, this could be a really useful tool because it is nice and smooth, handles these screws without any trouble. It's very lightweight, so I'm not stressing out holding a big heavy tool all day long. And I can very easily feel when the screw gets to the end of the thread. You get that little clicking. And this is much easier than, of course, trying to do it by hand. Might as well get over here and get you while I'm here. I don't recommend a lot of tools because I am very particular about what I recommend to the shiver. And if it doesn't meet expectations, I'm not going to recommend it to you. But I do like this one. It works as advertised. So if you are interested in getting one for yourself or as a gift for somebody else, go look for the affiliate link down in the description below. Yes, it's an affiliate link. Yes, I will get a small percentage of the cut when you buy one of these, and I greatly appreciate that. But it's a really good tool. I like it. And you know what? I had one of my clients over here from Biltmore Computers, and he saw me messing around with it. He likes it so much that he's going to go out and buy one too. And he repairs computers for a living. So I took that as a very good sign. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you all on the next one.